Hi everybody, I'm Hannah. Thanks for joining me. This is the aforepromised Celine Perfumes overview. Celine launched a set of 9 perfumes in the year 2019, and it had been 50 years since they launched the last perfume, so I guess it was about time for a rebrand. What we know is that these perfumes were created by a team of perfumers. It was a team effort, so there isn't one perfumer that's assigned to any of these scents. And one of the perfumers that has their name on these is Anique Monardo, and she created Bois Dormant and Bois Dormant as well, and they are definitely some of my favorite perfumes. 2 years later, they launched 2 more perfumes, so they've since launched Rimbaud and Bois Dormant. Bois Dormant was the most recent one, and it was launched last year. And it's lovely. I did a review of that most recently. And of course, I have a bottle of Nightclubbing, so I do like these perfumes a lot. I will say that all of them are quite powdery. And even if you don't like powder, I don't think that that's a reason to not smell these scents. I think they are so well made, they're so unique, and there's something in there that will appeal to everybody. I had my friends over yesterday because I have 8 of the perfumes as samples. So I had my friends yesterday that I normally smell perfume with, and we smelled all of them. And then I took our notes and I kind of like organized them from worst to best. And one of my friends that I smell perfume with, she does not like powdery scents at all, but she still ended up putting 2 of them on her skin at the end of the night. So that's kind of cool. I didn't tell her that there was orris in all of these because I know how much she hates powder, and I kind of like it when we can kind of smell blind. So I definitely went in knowing a lot more than they did, and I had already worn a bunch of them and smelled them all, but they hadn't, so it was nice to share with them. Just so you have a little bit of context, we're all kind of the same age in this friend group, but we all come with different scent associations with different ingredients, right? So we definitely don't have the same perfume tastes. I think it's no secret that I like things that are a little bit more classic. They like things that are a little bit more modern. They definitely like their green scents and like their ambers, and I do as well. And I don't know, just because they don't like something doesn't mean that I don't buy it. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean that they don't buy it. It's kind of like, it's like clothing, right? So you might not like my sweater for yourself, but you can appreciate that it's my sweater and I feel good when I wear it, and that's really the most important thing. So it's okay that they don't like the same things that I do. I still will smell things independently by myself and then decide whether I want to buy things or not. The other thing that I wanted to say was that, these Celine perfumes, they are quite expensive. A 100 ml bottle right now in Canada is $350. You can get a 200 ml, and then they also have 15 ml travel sizes that are sold as a pair, but you can choose different perfumes as your 15 ml, and those are a little bit cheaper. I think those are still $100 or even more than that maybe. So different options for sure. You can only get these perfumes at the Celine boutiques around the world. In Canada, you can also smell them and buy them at Holt Renfrew in Vancouver. As of right now, when I checked the Celine website, all of them were sold out in every single size. So I don't know if that's because they had a limited quantity of bottles that were available, or whether they are finally picking up steam and they really are just sold out, or whether maybe there's like a delay in getting a restock. I have no idea, but right now they are all sold out. So clearly the price is not a barrier for people to get this perfume. And I do feel like these are all really, really well done. And they should be, right? For the price point, there should be something for everybody. All of these are good, but some of them are great. And that's what happens when you smell lots of samples. what we've realized after this much time is usually the things that we love the best always stand out, and they stand out for all of us. You know, we all will smell something and be blown away by it. And that doesn't mean that we don't come back to the other samples that we didn't love as much, but the worst thing for a perfume is to be forgettable, in my experience. And there was something memorable about all of these. So that's another good thing. When we all had the favorite one, the one that we liked the best, that one was consistent, or like definitely our top two were consistent, and then our bottom two were consistent also. So it was really easy to pick favorites and really easy to pick the worst ones. And then the ones in the middle were kind of all interchangeable, I would say. You know, number 4, 5, and 6 were just kind of whatever. You could kind of change where they are in the order, but our first one and our last one, I wouldn't change those. I kept our notes, so I'll go through them with you all and share some of my thoughts too, because I had thoughts about all of these anyways. Okay, so let's start with La Peau Nue. That was the one that I didn't like at all. I feel like it's also the one from all of these that's quite feminine leaning. And that's because it does have a rose note in it. The official notes are rose, rice powder, or vetiver. I didn't get a lot of rice powder in this one, but I did get baby powder. And we all kind of felt like there was a baby powder smell for this one. I just feel like this is a little bit boring, and I don't know anyone that wants to smell like baby powder. Like, baby powder smells nice, but it just like this one didn't blow me away. I feel like it smelled like nail polish remover from the drugstore. Like, the rose note is cold and artificial, and there's better rose fragrances out there. It's just not a very sumptuous, majestic, realistic kind of rose. And so I would not recommend it. That being said, I know that 20 years ago, if I had walked into a store and seen 11 perfumes lined up, I would have asked to smell the rose one first because I love rose as a note. I definitely wouldn't do that anymore. But I also feel like if I'd smelled this rose one, I would have thought it was okay and probably just walked out with a sample, and I definitely wouldn't have returned to it. So let's look Peau Nue, kind of boring, powdery for sure. And if you're looking for a powdery rose, then maybe try this one, but it just is baby powder and not really in a good way. Yeah. That's La Peau Nue. That's in last place. I think it will stay in last place. Okay, we also have Saint Germaine-des-Pres. This one was quite green, quite grassy. It was very herbal. It reminded me of a schoolyard because, like, when you go to a schoolyard, you have like a sweet scent that's there, and then you have like green scents also because there's usually a garden or a field or something like that. So this reminded me of that. This one was more masculine leaning. It smelled very basic. It smelled like, you know, the person that buys this probably already has Polo or something by Hugo Boss, and they want something that is safe and predictable, and they're buying this because they know they're going to wear it. And that's great, but it's just nothing special, you know? So it's kind of like they created something that was for the person that just wants another safe, predictable office scent that they would normally wear. So I did not love this one as much either. What's the next one? Parade. Do I have some missing? No, I don't. Yep. Okay. So the next one is Parade. Parade, I get a fig note in Parade, and I wrote fig and then crossed it out because we must have looked it up and realized that there was no fig in there, but I do get some fig leaf still. This is, again, a green powdery scent. It has citrus notes in it. Let me find my sample. It was still kind of boring, honestly. It wasn't, yeah, there's like a neroli. It's fine. It's just, again, nothing special. I really don't have anything to say about this one. So I won't force myself, and that was Parade. Okay, Reptile. Reptile was the biggest letdown, probably because there's been so much said about it. Chandler Burr, who used to be the perfume critic for the New York Times, reviewed all these scents, and I think he interviewed A.D. Celine also. And he wrote an article for the Wall Street Journal about these perfumes. It's behind a paywall, at least here, but you can still access parts of it. He said that Reptile smelled like meth and black pepper. I don't have that scent reference, so I cannot confirm or deny. But Reptile has kind of made it on everybody's radar, and people have said that they really liked it. I didn't love it as much. It was lemony, peppery. There's incense in here also. So a good one to smell if you like incense. And again, it does get a little bit powdery. I thought this smelled like a natural bug spray, and I'm sure they have them all over the world, but in particular here we have this company called Rocky Mountain Soap Company, and they make a natural bug spray that smells very pungent. I think it smells good. It smells better than regular bug spray, but that's what Reptile smelled like to me. I didn't really get a lot of leather, and usually leather's in the dry down, and I still don't get any leather. I put it on my skin too. It just didn't go very leathery on me. So if you're worried about that, don't be worried. I feel like I was also disappointed because I kind of had Tyrannosaurus Rex by Zoologist in the back of my mind, and this is not as intense or as interesting as that one. So if I wanted a scent that was like Reptile-like, I would go for Tyrannosaurus Rex. I would not go for Celine Reptile. I feel like people probably want to buy it because they like the name of it, or they've heard that it's supposed to smell like meth. And kind of the same as like people buying Tom Ford Tuscan Leather, right? Because that one is supposed to smell like cocaine. But yeah, this one was the biggest letdown. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great. So that was Reptile. Okay, Black Tie. We're down to the top 4. Black Tie, again, kind of spoken about. And this one is just like a very basic vanilla powder. It's a little bit smoky. I've worn this a lot. I'll show you my sample of it. It is almost finished. Where is it? Right here. Not almost finished. I have half of it left. So I've worn it quite a bit. I like it. It's just not interesting and it's not memorable. I feel like the person that likes black tie or is going to add black tie to their collection is likely a people pleaser. Probably this is the person that brings in treats for their own birthday. They are really helpful, really appeasing and super nice, but they're not going to be someone that you reach out to once they've moved on to a different job just because they are of no use to you anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like if you buy black tie, you'll wear it because it's so wearable, but you won't remember it. And people might not remember it on you. You won't miss it when it's gone, but you'll wear it when it's there. So that's black tie. It still is in the top 4. It's not in the bottom, but, I wore my sample a ton when I got it, and then I kind of forgot about it when I got my bottle of Nightclubbing, and then I just have not even revisited it. I will finish my sample most probably, but I just don't, I don't think there's anything that interesting about black tie. So that is black tie. Okay, Bois Dormant. I still like Bois Dormant. It has a really lovely neroli sparkling opening, and then it has like a cedar and orris, and it's quite powdery and really, really beautiful. So I adore Bois Dormant, and that's why it's in the top 3. It was, again, really easy to wear, very, very appealing. If you like more of a woodsy feel to your fragrances, this would be the one to try. If you like woodsy scents, try this one, okay? And I guess that's the purpose of this, is to help you figure out what you should smell if you end up at a counter, or maybe you're going to try to find some samples and buy some samples or decants or something. You can kind of narrow down what you're going to try, because it can get expensive to try everything. But if you know kind of the vibe of some of these, then that should make it easier for you, okay? So Bois Dormant, check out my review. I really like it. And then second to last, or I guess the second best, would be Eau de Californie. We all really liked this one. We all wore it on skin. This is a citrus neroli. It's quite happy. It's quite floral. There is galbanum in this. And then there's also supposed to be Palo Santo, but I don't get a lot of Palo Santo in it. I don't really love Palo Santo as a scent. I like it as an incense, but I don't get a lot of Palo Santo in this. And that's a good thing. I do get incense, and I get a powdery incense, but Celine grew up in California spent a period of his childhood in California, and so he wanted to recreate a scent that took you back to that, and I guess that's what the Palo Santo has to do with it. California is known for kind of being like a hippy-dippy kind of place, especially parts of it. And so, the character of this perfume completely fits that. This is so wearable. It's so happy. It's solar. It's interesting. I am really tempted to get a bottle of it. I'm going to keep wearing my sample and see how much I like it. But that is Eau de Californie. If you're looking for something that's very uplifting and easy to wear, but still interesting, still with textures and layers, definitely check out Eau de Californie, because it was a favorite for all of us. And like I said, we all ended up putting up on skin, and the citruses last a really long time on skin. I think there is a dose of ambroxan in all of these that you can get if you overspray. I don't recommend overspraying. All of these are really strong, so you can get away with just one or two sprays, even just from a sample. But there is ambroxan, and I think that's what's making the citruses last longer, and it's making everything last on your skin. So that is great. And then number one, no surprise, was Nightclubbing. There's tobacco, there's cigarette ashes, velvet furniture, there's galbanum, so there's a little bit of green. It is the most interesting, the most textured, the most layered, and the most well-loved. It was immensely easy to wear. We all wore it. I can see how this would be a good going out scent. Definitely for nighttime, definitely for cooler weather. I wouldn't want to wear it when it would be warm. As you can tell, it is freezing here today, and it was freezing yesterday when we were smelling all of these. So we did end up putting Nightclubbing on skin too. I put black tie on skin too, because it's a vanilla, and I like wearing vanilla in the winter or when it's cooler outside. So Nightclubbing, I don't know. I said it's a going out scent, but it's not a very formal smell because of that ashtray note in it. I have smelled it on other people, and that ashiness does not, it doesn't make it past the initial spray. It's not something that fills the room. And what does fill the room is a powdery vanilla cloud, which is very appealing and appeasing at the same time. So I would get Nightclubbing over black tie, because black tie, I feel like there's an element of black tie in Nightclubbing, but they've added more interesting top notes, and of course a tobacco, which is really lovely, and the galbanum. But if you're someone that doesn't like galbanum, and maybe you really don't like that cigarette smell, then black tie might be for you. Oh yeah, and black tie, 80 Celine did say that black tie is supposed to represent, his clothing most literally. So, when you think of a blazer, or a wool blazer or woolen suiting, black tie is appropriate for that. I just think it's so basic and not as interesting. I can see how it would be perfect for a black tie event where you're all dressed up and you don't want to offend anybody. That would be a good scent to wear. But nightclubbing is definitely something that I would wear every day because it is just so nice. And then if I wanted like a summer version of that, I would go for Eau de Californie. And I think that's why I feel like I want to wear Eau de Californie these days. That's it for me. Hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know which of these is your favorite. If you've tried any of them, what stood out to you. Also, what you think about the price, because people have mentioned that quite a bit. And I know that price is a deterrent for many people in getting perfume, but definitely samples are free if you're able to make it to the store. So ask for them. And yeah, hope to see you in the comments. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.